Cable Bahamas has always been considered the innovator.
People can have confidence in Cable Bahamas as a mobile operator because of our past history. We've proven to the Bahamian community that we are in fact able to manage additional services as a telecommunications company.
Customers expect the best from Cable Bahamas.
The technology that we bring is revolutionary technology because we know that the Bahamian public, they deserve it, and Cable Bahamas is here to bring it to them.
We are ready. Turn us on.
The bodies of a woman and 2 young children recovered from a submerged car in waters off Montagu. The victim's family questions if the deaths are a murder-suicide. Plus, a 12-year-old boy is the nation's newest spelling bee champ. We've got those stories and more coming up tonight. I'm Dana Smith, and NB12 starts right now. Tonight, we now know the identities of the woman and 2 young children whose bodies were pulled from waters off Montagu last night, shortly after eyewitnesses said they saw a car speeding overboard. Our news team spoke with the victims' relatives today, who are distraught over the deaths. But first, we take you to last night's scene. Candia Dames has the details.
It's just about midnight and police are trying to piece together the information to determine exactly what went wrong here tonight. So far, they've pulled 3 bodies from the water, a woman and 2 young girls. As you can see, they've also used a wrecker to pull a blue Toyota Avalon from the waters here off the Montagu ramp. Despite the speculation, though, police say they're not jumping to any conclusions.
Police told us at the scene that after 10 p.m., officers were on patrol in the Montagu area when they were stopped by eyewitnesses who told them a vehicle had just plunged into the water, going at a very high rate of speed. Police say officers jumped out of their vehicles, raced to the water, and dove in, trying to save the victims.
We got a wrecker with some assistance. We were able to pull the vehicle nearby. At that time, an examination of the vehicle revealed that there were 3 persons inside. We were able to remove from the vehicle an adult female and 2 small children, 2 females children. The officers rendered CPR, but was unsuccessful. EMS came on the scene. They did additional CPR and tried to revive the bodies, to no avail.
Members of the media and other bystanders watched as authorities placed the bodies in body bags. When we arrived, they were lying on the ramp. Those on the scene expressed heartbreak at the sight, particularly when they got a glimpse of at least one of the little girls lying lifeless on the pavement. Many on the scene speculated about a murder-suicide, but police told us they just could not say.
We cannot speculate, and we are investigating the matter. It's an open investigation, and I want you all to bear with us without coming to any type of speculation.
It seemed to us that you were trying to get the car open. Is that what you were doing?
When? At what point?
You were hearing the knocking sound.
No, we had to make sure, conclude everything, check the trunk was not open, so we had to make sure, determine before we moved the car away that there was nobody else inside the vehicle, and we have concluded that no one is inside the vehicle.
Did you find anything of interest inside the vehicle?
At this moment now, we are sifting through anything that we might see. Our crime scene investigators checking everything that might be there, but we have no motive, nothing to lead us to determine what has happened.
Now, we understand that while searching the vehicle, police found a lot of clothing inside, which might have suggested the woman was in the process of moving. The car was eventually towed, and police were expected to inspect it further.
Now, police did not tell us what name is on this car's registration. They say that it is much too soon to determine whether the woman was the owner of the vehicle that plunged overboard here tonight. Reporting for NB12, I'm Candia Dames.
Although police say it's too soon to classify the deaths of Shamika McKinney and her 2 young daughters as a murder-suicide, Relatives of the victims have not ruled it out. Family members today describing Shamika McKinney as a depressed woman who had fallen on hard times and was left angry by life and the situation she found herself in. A mother to 2 young girls, unable to find a decent job or a home to live in. Through tears, 74-year-old Alice McKinney, Shamika's grandmother, recalled the last time she saw her granddaughter and asked what many people are wondering: did Shamika McKinney take her own life?
Growing up, she was a nice, very nice person. During her latter years, she became confused. She went away to college. When she came back, everything in her life had changed. And she had the 2 kids, Gabrielle, honey, McKinney. Gabby, 6 years old. Alisa Stephanie McKinney, 3 years old. She fell into some bad luck and she was just going on and on.
Shamika McKinney and her 2 young children had been living with her cousin Paula Davis at a home off Carmichael Road since January. According to 46-year-old Davis, she and McKinney got into a heated argument on Friday, which resulted in Davis asking McKinney to leave. Davis said McKinney packed up her clothes and her children and left, and that was the last time she saw her. Davis said although she and McKinney were cousins, they didn't know each other that well. Davis described her as a stranger and an argumentative person who was difficult to get along with and was angry with life. Davis said McKinney had difficulty finding a permanent place to live, and although she held a bachelor's degree, could only find a minimum wage position at Wendy's fast food restaurant. Davis said she was shocked to find out about the deaths of her cousin and her 2 children. Shamika McKinney's grandmother said she found out after listening to this morning's news.
The last time I saw her was Friday afternoon. I never thought I would never see her again. I don't know nothing. This morning I listened to the 7:30 news and I heard about it. And I said to myself, Lord, don't tell me that girl do some stupidness.
When asked, Davis said she does not regret asking McKinney to leave her home. She said, quote, "I did everything I possibly could have done for her. I just thought it wasn't working. Honestly, I'm sorry the kids lost their lives. I'm sorry that she took the children. But if I look back, probably if she stayed, she could have gotten into an argument and one of my kids might have got killed because it was at that stage where she was just argumentative." Davis said McKinney lived almost every place in Nassau, and it was always a problem. She said McKinney could have gone to a number of people, but they would have refused her because of her attitude. Davis lives in a 2-bedroom home and moved her own 4 children out of the other bedroom so McKinney and her 2 children could stay there. Candy Gibson of Foam, Families of All Murder Victims, was also at the home today to console the family. Family members said although they will grieve the loss of Shamika McKinney, more than anything, they've been left heartbroken by the deaths of her 2 young daughters.
Nobody knows what I'm feeling right now. Only the good master knows. To see those 2 little babies, they was pride and joy, those 2 little babies. Man, if she wanted to do something foolish like leave those 2 little kids. Right now, I'm so upset. I'm not a well person. But he promised never to put more on me than I can bear. And I know that good man didn't put more on me than I can bear. My Jesus is there, he's there on the throne. Lord, help me to overcome this.
In other news tonight, amid calls from the opposition for his resignation, Mike Allen PV Alfred Gray says he will not step down as the Minister of Agriculture, telling our news team today he did nothing wrong. Kyle Joaquin reports.
Agriculture Minister V. Alfred Gray said he's not even considering the FNM's request for him to step down as a cabinet minister. He said resignation is a sign of guilt, and as far as he's concerned, he's done nothing wrong. Gray says the Free National Movement's request for resignation of cabinet ministers is getting old now and he won't pay it any mind. On Sunday, Free National Movement leader Dr. Hubert Minnis called for Gray to resign following allegations that the minister interfered with the course of justice.
I categorically deny that I ever sought to influence or pervert the course of justice in a matter before the courts. Any suggestion that I did so is absolutely preposterous and completely false.
On Friday, Gray admitted that he told the Mayaguana Island administrator, who was acting in his capacity as magistrate, that he had the power to grant bail to a man who had already been convicted. That man, who was sentenced to 3 months in prison and awaiting transport to the capital to serve his time, was subsequently released. Gray wouldn't go into much detail as to what happened, but we asked him one more time for the record if he would step down.
No, for what? I've done nothing wrong. You step down when you have been caught doing wrong. I have done nothing wrong, and so no, I'm not doing that.
Minnis said under no circumstance should the minister have called the magistrate to pressure him to release the man whom Gray said was convicted for cursing a police officer. However, Gray said the FNM has already called for the resignation of the Prime Minister, the Deputy Prime Minister, and now him. Thus, he said, it appears as though the opposition is just trying to stay relevant.
Let me just say that the FNM's call for resignations from the Prime Minister down in his cabinet had been ongoing for a long time. So that's a matter for them. They can call for whoever they want. They can ask for whoever they want. But at the end of the day, we have a government to run, and I suppose the Prime Minister will have the final say in all these situations.
We contacted the island administrator Zephaniah Newbold today for comment. However, he said he had none at this time. Gray says as the matter is still in court, he won't say anything more on it. So what happens next?
I to work. That's where you are. I'm at work.
Reporting for NB12, I'm Kyle Joaquin.